Your brother's soul is mine.
Mortal Kombat. Like Doom, you are the franchise that people past the age of 30 can't stop glazing. My opinions on the series are mixed. I generally like the idea of Mortal Kombat, but the execution always left a lot to be desired. But I have played the series here and there, especially as a kid, so I cannot really say I dislike this franchise as a whole. And I cannot lie and tell you that this series of fighting games aren't iconic. They are, and for good reasons. They are a cornerstone of the 90s, a real competition against other fighters like Street Fighter. They went on to inspire a lot of people and garnered a massive fan base, and the series has gotten multiple movies and cartoon shows. Really, Mortal Kombat is simply the poster boy for the arcades of the 90s, and even modern fighting games as of today. However, if there is one thing in recent years that I shall critique on NetherRealm Studios and Ed Boon over, it'd be that, yeah, the guest characters kinda suck.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Now, to really explain my problems with the guests in this series, I will explain via this handy-dandy chart of them I found on Google. To start, let's talk the obvious. 11 of the 17 fighters here are from some old movie franchises, 6 of which are from horror films. This is most likely due to Warner Bros., but I digress. To add insult to injury, 5 of the guests are from comics, most of which are popular or have been popular in recent years. Most notably being Homelander, Peacemaker, and Omni-Man.
Are you sure?
We only have one video game rep, in a video game franchise. And lastly, every guest so far has been a guy, with the sole exception of the Xenomorph, but only because it is an agender alien. Now, you might be asking yourself, Dapper, what's wrong with these picks? They seem perfectly fine guest characters for a fighter. And to that, I answer you this. Good or bad, a lot of guest characters in fighting games oftentimes are relevant, and or fit in with the game in some way, or at the very least try to. I can only name like 3 guests in Mortal Kombat that fit, and those are Spawn, Rambo, and Conan. The rest don't fit in with MK artistically or in vibes alone. Plus, besides the comic characters, a good amount of them are only in relevance due to nostalgia from older generations. They're popular for a reason, but at the same time, did anyone really care about RoboCop? Or T-1000?
And what the f-
And do I really need to say why having all your guests be guys is stupid? There are a lot of cool, iconic, badass women characters out there that can work really well in MK, and yet they're not even considered? Like, what? All that, and the fact we only had one major video game rep, go to show that Warner Bros. Are not the best when it comes to DLC for one of their flagship titles. So, you know what? I'm putting my foot down. I'm gonna do what they cannot, and find a guest character who fits the vibes for Mortal Kombat, can be recognizable to both new and older fans, is a woman, and is a video game representative. But I don't really need to find her, because I already know who I'd like to see in combat.
I don't mind passing up chances, as long as I keep seeing more of them.
Yep. If you saw the title and thumbnail, you probably already knew it, but I want to see Baiken from Guilty Gear in Mortal Kombat. Now, you might already be asking, why Baiken? I thought you said a recognizable video game woman. And to that I say, hold your fucking horses, let me cook. Now, obviously, Guilty Gear is not the most popular franchise out there, and hell, Baiken ain't even the most popular girl from the game. But here's the thing. Guilty Gear is a notable legacy franchise. Not as old as MK, but arguably just as influential due to it popularizing the anime fighter subgenre. Plus, out of all the Guilty Gear girls, she's probably the best one for MK in terms of design, story, and hell, even character interactions, as I'll explain in this video. So, sit back, relax, and let my big aspy butt tell you why I think this dope samurai lady should be in Mortal Kombat. Oh boy, my favorite topic when discussing anything Guilty Gear related. I seriously love the character designs in this franchise. But let's be a bit objective here. This is about if I think Baiken could work in Mortal Kombat, at least design-wise. And to be honest, yeah, absolutely. Mortal Kombat, despite being an American franchise, usually prides itself on Eastern-inspired architecture and characters. The main protagonist is quite literally a Chinese man, a good chunk of the cast are from either Japan or China, and a lot of the architecture and outworld are inspired by Asian mythology. Already Baiken wouldn't be too out of place due to this fact, but just because she's a Japanese Ronin doesn't mean much. She needs a little bit more juice to be recognized as a potential MK character. So I propose a more thorough analysis on her appearance. Going off her render and strive, one can already pick up some notable things about her that scream Mortal Kombat potential. Her scarred eye, for one, is something one immediately notices, showing that something or someone damaged it. Another thing of note is how tattered her robes are. This shows they are quite battle-worn, which is quite befitting for a franchise about brutally killing your foes. And while it's hard to tell in a lot of her renders, she's missing an arm. That already screams brutal. I mean, a lone samurai who's half blind, battle-torn, and basically disabled, but can kick you into next Thursday, is just a perfect fit for MK as a whole. Hell, the idea of a scarred samurai has happened once before in the series with Kenshi. So, hey, what's one more, right? And I know a lot of people try to say that since she's anime, that means realism wouldn't work for her, but a lot of her early artworks from the older entries in the Guilty Gear series has her in a bit more of a realistic, albeit stylized form. So Baiken can very well work in the more realistic style of the MK franchise. But if all that doesn't convince you, then I guess we should talk about the boobs! Yeah, I know sex appeal shouldn't be the end-all be-all, but let's be honest here. Fighting games are horny. Even the most popular ones aren't devoid of this. Mortal Kombat especially. Due to the B-movie nature, it was all violence in movies and sex on TV. The games have mellowed out a bit through the years, but a lot of the girls in the series are still very attractive. And don't even get me started on the designs of the ladies in Mortal Kombat 9. Like, oh my fucking god, these suck ass. But with Baiken's rather pronounced bosom and beauty, she'd fit right in next to some of the girls in the series already. Hell, she'd arguably be more modest considering she only really has her cleavage out. Alright, let's stop talking about this before YouTube destroys my bloodline and instead talk about something else. Okay? Okay. Now, when I talk about story, I don't mean Baiken's actual story in the Guilty Gear series. No, I am referring to her hypothetical story in a Mortal Kombat game. The guest characters have some non-canon reason for why they're in the MK universe, told through their arcade ending. In fact, let's detail the endings from MK1 to gauge on how Baiken would find her way into this franchise. For Homelander's ending, a portal opened up in his universe, with demons popping up from within it. This caused him to learn about the Mortal Kombat tournament. For Omni-Man, Shang Tsung opened a portal to the Invincible universe, in order for him to be a minion in his conquest. Nolan decides against that, and instead sends the Viltrum Empire to the MK universe. For Peacemaker, he was fighting Mephisto, before a portal opened up, causing him to land in the MK universe. T-1000, I don't care, man. Ghostface, or Billy, just somehow found his way into the world of Mortal Kombat, and is trying to be like Germa. And lastly, Conan, what is that? What is that? That's scary. Mom, I'm scared. Nightmare elephants aside, it seems like a good chunk of MK guest characters arrive via portals to their own worlds. Either via someone from their own universe, or someone from the MK universe. For me, I think someone like Liu Kang would call upon her in order to help fight against evil, and Baiken would most likely accept, though she'd be very confused. Hell, even after the dust settles, she'd probably hit Liu Kang with that meaty "damn bitch, you live like this." But it's not really the arcade endings people are excited to see when a guest arrives in Mortal Kombat. Nope, it's actually something much better. It's the... sorry about that, it's work related. Excuse me, let me just... Hello? Really? But why? But I already planned to... Right. Okay, fine. I'll talk about that. Okay, bye. So, does anyone actually like how Mortal Kombat plays? The gameplay in Mortal Kombat is very notorious with how it kind of fails to understand the intricacies of most fighting games. Instead of motion inputs, it's command inputs. Instead of holding back to block, you have a designated block button. And if I remember correctly, MK3 has a designated run button, which just makes no sense. I bet if they were to get Baiken into MK, they'll most likely rework her moveset to fit with the command inputs, and limit her supers to stuff like fatalities or brutalities. Speaking of which, we might as well talk about fatalities in this segment quickly. For Baiken's first fatality, I can imagine her doing her insta-kill from Rev 2 and Accent Core. For her second, I am not too sure. Maybe she'll do that one anime trope where she opens up her sword for a brief second and then suddenly the opponent isn't in a million pieces. I don't know. As for her animality, while she has no gear cells in her, I think it'd be pretty appropriate to make her animality be something related to the gears. So, I think she'll turn into Leopoldon from Guilty Gear Ithaca and crush the opponent. Okay. I'd rather stop talking about gameplay and instead move on to something far more substantial for a guest pick. And something I am dying to talk about. So, let's get on with it. Since Mortal Kombat X, characters have had unique intros and interactions with one another. It has been such a series staple that it's even wormed its way into MK's sister series of Injustice. Since this whole hypothetical of Baiken getting into Mortal Kombat is based solely on the interactions of Mortal Kombat 1, I am gonna outline what I think Baiken might say to the characters. Mostly the DLC characters though, since I'm not the most familiar with MK1's roster beyond a few characters. For Omni-Man, I bet Nolan will try to get Baiken on his side, but she'll reject the offer immediately. For Homelander, he'll probably make a rather rude or lewd comment on her appearance, which he'll regret soon enough. For Peacemaker, he might actually find Baiken really cool, which Baiken will take as a compliment, but won't let the flattery get to her. T-1000, he'll probably try to question why Baiken is from the distant future and why she hasn't been killed by Skynet, which she'll respond by telling him that she has faced way worse. Conan will find Baiken to be a worthy warrior to fight, with Baiken accepting the challenge. If we'll also talk about some actual MK characters, I have a few ideas for them too. Baiken might try to tell Scorpion that his vengeance will only hurt him more, which he'll deny wholeheartedly. Kitana will be quite enamored by Baiken's brutal fighting style, which Baiken will comment that it gets the job done. Liu Kang will respectfully ask to do battle against her, so Baiken accepts, but with a warning. And the last one I came up with is her facing against General Khan, with Khan finding her to be beneath him. Baiken tells him that she can handle whatever he has in store. Another quick section, but I think my outline of dialogue should work very well in convincing you, my dear viewer, that Baiken not only fits Mortal Kombat in terms of design, story, and gameplay, but also in terms of the little things like intros. So, if anything, Baiken really just works. She just works incredibly well in Mortal Kombat. So, in conclusion, Baiken would work extremely well as a fighter for Mortal Kombat. Not only would she be a fresh face for the series, but she'd fit well within the series' set mythos and story. Obviously, her chance of an inclusion would be very, very slim, but it's not an absolute zero. And trust me, I love a good gamble. Maybe in the next Mortal Kombat game, NetherRealm Studios may surprise us. Who can really say? So, that's the end of the What now? Hello? Huh? Oh, I forgot about Ghostface in the interaction section? Okay. Don't worry, I have it under control. Okay, bye. Okay, alright. All we gotta do to make this work is use this fancy blender I stole from a homeless man near the combination A&W and KFC. Let's just add them in and... Oh, shit. Oh, God, I broke the blender. Oh. Oh, my... Oh, God. Oh, my God. Someone call the fire department. Oh, my... Oh, no.